Welcome back. Your energy first. I'm your host, Emily McNaughton, and I have been having this experience, a really great experience for the last year, year and a half. And I realize I haven't shared it here yet, and it's a really neat thing to add to your life. So, when we consider creating with our life, sometimes we are creating from a space where we maybe feel a lack or pain, or there needs to be an adjustment. And then there's times in our life where things are smoother, things are going really well. And we want to continue to create with our life intentionally so that we continue to feel content, happiness, joy, wellness in our heart and our experience, right? So, for a while, I have been adding to my manifestations or my creating in my life laughter, lots of laughter. And I remember the very first time I did this, I didn't just set the intention for laughter, I set the intention for like belly laughs. And the next day, I had this huge belly laugh. I actually had it with Helga. She was the one that made me laugh that hard. She often makes me laugh. And it was really interesting. And I thought, oh, yeah, it's so funny because I do this all the time. And yet I still have these moments of, oh my gosh, this works and this works so well. So as I began to create and manifest more of my experiences, my partner and I are being really intentional about people we're meeting and hanging out with. And, I was when I was manifesting a partner, and I want you to know that even if you have been in a relationship for a long time, you can still manifest experiences between you and your partner. What we don't want to do is, manipulate behavior change in someone. We don't use energy work for that, or hopefully in our real life. But what we do is we really do say, what is an experience I want to create? So when I was manifesting and creating with my partner, and I still do this, I was doing it with the intention of a lot of laughter. I was like, I set the intention we laugh all the time together. And what's funny is that with him, I laugh so hard that I go silent. And it's that, you know what I'm talking about? And your body's kind of gyrating. And the first few times it happens, he's like, are you okay? And I got tears because I'm laughing so hard. And that's kind of a regular thing. And he's funny. So he's quippy and I like that and he makes me laugh. So these are things to kind of, and I get to be goofy. Like that side of myself is safe with him. So I get to be goofy and he giggles. And by the way, I do want to kind of add, I think that when we talk about relationships, it's important not to paint this picture. It's like you see a sunset and it's the most beautiful, perfect sunset. You take a picture of it, or you paint the best version of something. And I have actually talked to him about this because I've asked, are there elements of our relationship I can share? And he said yes, which was very kind of him. And he also trusts me. And so I do have permission to share these things. The funny thing is, when I first started being really goofy around him, his response was kind of like, "Oh, okay, it's an adjustment, right?" He knew me as one version of myself, and he is a human, and he's starting to experience other parts of me. And I remember having this moment. Why did my microphone? There we go. Oh, okay. Hang on. I don't know what's happening here. We're back. And I remember instead of me responding to his response, which I had a moment of that, I came back into my body and I said, I'm choosing myself and I'm choosing this joy that I'm feeling in this moment and confidence in myself. My full self, right? If you listen to the last episode, confidence is actually just about embodying your full self. And very quickly, he picked up on that energy. I don't know if he would call it that. And now I'm goofy all the time and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. He's like, you're the funniest, you're so fun, blah, blah, blah. And I just wiggle and do all the things I want to do. I also do it without him there. I was by myself and I just started dancing one night recently. It's just like, I was just, music was good. And I just like, I'm just going to get down. So those are the other things I want to make sure that it feels like not a responsibility, but it just feels like, because I'm experiencing this type of relationship at this point in my life, there's so much online that can make you think that what you're experiencing isn't normal. And I've talked to my therapist quite a bit about this because he's a creator online and has a wonderful partnership with his spouse. And so it's just been very interesting. I'm like, I don't want to be one of those people. There's so many good things, and those are the things you want to sing from the rooftops. And then at the same time, there's little aspects woven into the reality of this. This also reminds me in the Magic Accelerator last night, and that's the group program where you not just develop your intuition, but you bring it into your work and into your day to day. And I taught them how to communicate telepathically. And that's something that's going to really become mainstream in this upcoming decade or so. And when things become mainstream, they get really diluted. But one of the things that was really special is how normal it felt. And one of the things Spirit said in that session and in that training is whether you're communicating with your vocal cords and putting the vocal cord vibration out there using your words, or using your third eye, or using your brain for telepathic communication, it's really all the same. So while these things feel really cool and special at first, the individuals that practice it, they were like, oh my gosh, they enjoyed the actual connection they had with the other person that they were communicating with almost more than the fact that they confirmed what they already knew, which is that they could telepathically communicate. And that's what was really special. Also, the other thing that I thought was really neat was Spirit shared how so they had a similar message. So everyone picked up on the messages, but there was little differences and little nuances. So instead of saying, oh, and think about how you and I, have you ever had a conversation with someone and they say, well, you said this, and you're thinking in your head, I definitely didn't. And we want to kind of approach things like a telepathic conversation. And I know I'm going a little bit off here, but this is going to come back full circle. I know we can maybe think of telepathic communication as well. It needs to be perfect. The message needs to be perfectly delivered, perfectly received. It needs to be, verbatim what the person was saying. It's not that way in our world. It's not that way in our reality. And this gets back to our relationship, like the laughing piece, my intention. Look how laughing, and I continue to set the intention for laughter and joy. And as that developed, and it showed up in my partnership, it's not as if it was absolutely perfect. There were just little nuanced moments too, because we want to allow our loved ones to have their human moments as much as we're allowed to have our human moments. And that's in relationships, that's also in energy work. And that's the truth about what it is that we're doing here is we are creating magical moments with the grounded reality of being in this human experience. Woo, Nelle. Woo, Nelle. Last month's live free energy activation was so special. It was so much fun. I received so many wonderful responses from it. We have another one coming up in June. If you feel called to be a part of it, please join in. I also have a live in-person workshop August 8th in Seattle. So if you feel like making a weekend trip, it's a beautiful time to visit the city. If you want to meet new people, and I have a couple of surprises set up for us. So I'm really looking forward to bringing everybody together and meeting a lot of you there. If you have any questions, slide into my DMs, send me a message. Regardless, thank you so much for bringing all of you into this world. It has been so great to connect here. If this episode resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you want to have more of these chats with. And as you move throughout your day, remember, your energy is your superpower. As you pay attention to it and trust it, you can watch your entire life begin to transform.